Hello there. I'm Scotty, and you're not. And I'm here to finish off the Purge review series with the Forever Purge. Taking place 9 years after the events of the first film. 8 years after the, not first film, of the previous film in chronology, Purge election year. We start over again. Taking place 9 years after the events of Purge election year. The film actually starts 8 years afterwards. The NFFA are voted back into power, and they decide to reinstate the Purge right away. And this now, in 2049, the Purge is back. And I will say, I didn't have high hopes for this at all. I was treating this like this one. This one couldn't keep my interest. I was always looking for something else to do. And I started out with that because I was looking through movies, and like 20 minutes in or something, the Purge ends, and I'm like, what? Already? And I sat on the couch and I was glued to the screen. Yeah, I had to go to the bathroom because of a drink, whatever. But I was glued to the screen for the most part. And it, hasn't done that since the election year, so give credit to that. It's another different director. James DeMonico did write it. And I will say that I thought this was handled very well. Yes, we've graduated from the subtlety of the first few films to now everything is just over it and in your face. But with every franchise, I think you need to kind of, maybe you don't need to go so, open-handed like that, but it's so overt. But I think it does work in this film. The scope and scale of the Purge franchise. In the first one, it was very small scale. It was condemned to one neighborhood, one house, a home invasion type film. The second one went out into the streets, more followed a ragtag group as they tried to survive. The third one took that and added the political commentary to it in a bigger scope. This one went back to a smaller scope, but an entire town instead of a neighborhood, being the Manhattan Island, entire island, I should say. And this one kind of goes, the entire United States in a way, because what happens is the Purge goes underway, but when it's done, because the NFFA had fucked up, because they didn't realize that an 8-year absence away from the Purge might do something to the American people who weren't able to purge for those 8-9 years. So now those people got one night to vent all their frustrations, and one night is not enough, as it says here on the package. And it just all hell breaks loose. The next day we get to see stuff happening after the Purge is done with. Let's talk about the cast. The cast, I love. This is probably the best cast since election year. You have Josh Lucas, who is in Ang Lee Hulk movie as Talbot, professional douchebag. Cassidy Freeman plays his wife. She was in Smallville. Is that version of Lena Luthor? And yes, she was Lena Luthor. Just look it up. You have Levin Rambin, who was in like the Hunger Games and Wizards of Waverly Place for a little while. Ana de Reguilera, who was in Army of the Dead, and Will Patton, who has been in many movies, including Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills, and the short-lived Swamp Thing TV series. So yeah, you have a good cast, even though Will Patton isn't in it that long. What happens is it kind of revolves around this family who lives on a ranch, and the next day, their American ranch hands attack them. They kill Caleb, that's Will Patton's character. They kill Will Patton, who was trying to distract them anyway, because Juan, our main male protagonist, who's Mexican, and his friend Titi have snuck in to save them and kill all of them, including their leader, Kirk, who was one of like their head ranch hand. and they steal the truck, and they go to find Adela, that's Juan's wife, Ana de Regula's character, who has been arrested because they defended themselves against purgers who didn't stop, and so they're arrested for killing them, even though it's self-defense. And they won't listen because one of them is black and the other one is Mexican. And that's not me saying it, that's the movie saying it. I mean, they don't say it in so many words, but you can tell. That's why. Yeah, eventually, there's these two weird purgers that are in there. They're really weird on drugs or something. This one guy's can tell what gun it is by the sound it makes, which is really AK-47 or whatever. I'm like, what? There's a lot of weird characters in these movies, but that's one of the weirdest. Got a big old Nazi thing on the side of his head too, just so you know. But yeah, the truck is knocked over, and then so Talbot, it's not his name, but Josh Lucas, his wife, sister, and Juan and Titi make their way into town to save her, and it's here. So the character, Josh Lucas's character, Dylan, there you go, I remember it now. Dylan, he's the character that has the most character growth, most growth in this film. Because at the beginning, when they're sitting at the kitchen table and Adela is speaking Spanish to the children, which disappear from this movie. I don't know where the children go. He's like, I want the children speaking Spanish. Oh, is he racist? According to him, no. Because later he's like, I don't think that Americans are any better. The white people are any better than Mexicans. You know, I just think we should mind our own business and stay apart. And I'm just like, it's not really the best view on things, you know. And something I caught. I don't know if anyone else caught it, but I caught this. There's a part where they get in to go to save Adela, and Juan and Titi get out, and the sister's like, I'm going to go with him too. And Dylan says, no. He's like, they saved our lives. We owe them. So they take off. He's like, fine, we'll be here. He was going to take off on him. He was going to take off. And as soon as they left to go get Adela, he was going to drive off. He was going to leave him. And he doesn't because now his sister is in trouble. You know? Yeah. And so now they're on a race because the borders are opening, because things are going way out of hand. There's purging all over the place after the purge is done. So they're going to head to Mexico to escape. However, they get to where they have 3 hours left, and then they declare martial law, and they're going to close all the borders due to all the rioting and the problems they're having. And they're forced to separate with the sister or Adela and the wife separating, and the rest of them. I think the sister dies. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I don't know. Eventually they reconvene, they find each other, and she's already given birth off screen to a baby girl, because it's 2022, so it has to be a girl. I don't know why that bugs me. It just does. Like they said, it's a girl. They say it twice. Like, it's a girl. It's a girl. I'm like, we get it. I don't know. Is this going to be a character where we follow 20 years later, it's their daughter? Because that's how we do things in movies now. It's got to be the daughter of the main character from the previous film. I have my opinions on how they're doing the next film anyway. I might address them at the end, but just stick with me here. Yeah, I really enjoyed this one. Yeah, this is where the character growth comes in, because he's like, then when his kids speak Spanish, and he's like, gracias Adela, muchos gracias, or gracias Juan, muchos gracias Adela. And it's like, oh, there's his character growth. He's speaking Spanish. He's grown. He's a changed man, you know? You're kind of going to have to live in Mexico now, so that's going to change. But yeah, the NFFA fucked up, because now this whole thing is nationwide after the purge, after the fact. It's getting worse. But yeah, I did like the way there's this really cool one-shot take where they're going through the city. I don't know if it's completely a one-shot. According to Dead Meat, he noticed one cut. I couldn't notice. I thought it was flawless, but my eyes aren't the best anyway. But it was great. I think that was a great one take. Yeah, I enjoyed this movie. I like showing this, that something I complained about from the beginning is that trust factor. Like, you just trust that after the purge, everyone's gonna stop, and that's gonna be it. And from the beginning, I think I've said in every review that there's just, maybe not in every review, but it's just like, it doesn't make any sense to me how they would just stop. And here, they've addressed that. 8 years of not being able to do that has caused problems. And before you people sit there and say, well, it's Charlie's fault for canceling it. No, it's not Charlie's fault. You don't know that's the lady from Purge election year, the one who got elected president. It's not her fault. It's the NFFA's fault, because the NFFA didn't think. They just thought, okay, we're back in power now. We can just, reinstate the purge and everything will be back to the way it was. Not thinking of the consequences. So it's their fault. They fucked up, as we say. But, yeah, I enjoyed this film. I keep saying it. I thought it was better than the first Purge. It's better than the original Purge. Not sure how it stacks up against the other ones, but I thought it was pretty good. I liked the cast. I liked the action sequences they used. I thought it was pretty good. It goes, to show you that chaos will happen in times like this, like that in this movie. You know what I mean? But yeah, I would say when it comes to Forever Purge, though, it's pretty good. So, what are your thoughts on the Forever Purge when it comes below? Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. We got a ranking video left. Just a few thoughts on the 6th film. So, the 6th film has been announced. James DeMonaco is returning to write and direct this one, and he plans on bringing back the character of Leo Barnes, that's Frank Grillo's character, from Anarchy and Election Year. However, looking up information on this, it says it's going to take place 10 years after the Forever Purge in 2059. And I swear to God, if the movie comes out or the trailer comes out and Frank Grillo looks the same age he does now without any added to make him look older, gray in his hair or something, I'm going to flip. Because he already doesn't look his age that he should be. The man is in his 50s. But, I explained this before. In Purge Anarchy, the man was 49 years old. This came out 2 years later, which means he was like 51, right? So, but this is a 51-year-old playing 66. All right? So, when did this come out? 2018? 2016. 2016. 22, 23. Say it comes out in 2023. So 7 years later, man will be 57, 58, right? He will be a 58-year-old portraying a 80-year-old. I don't know. I really don't know. I understand bringing it back, but why does it have to take place so far in the future? Why do these films have to have... See, that's another problem that the X-Men franchise had, is that they were taken decades apart, but the actors didn't age. They used the same actors without trying to age them up. These two films take place 1 year apart, and this one is 1 year apart from each other. This one in 2022 now, and this one in 2023. This one takes place in 2040. 17 years later. And this one in 2049. This one is in 2016. That doesn't count. In 2049. And then the next one in 2059. 80-year-old Frank Grillo. 80-year-old Leo Barnes. I don't get it. Why can't they just take place within a couple of years of each other? Why do I have to have such a big gap in between them? It confuses me. But let me know your thoughts on what I've told you about the sixth film. Still has no name in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.